Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Skinny Black's Lounge. I'm your host, Rob, aka Skinny Black. Welcome to the lounge where we got jokes for everybody. JT will handle that. And this is a place where Skinny Black's Lounge is a place where the barbershop meets the library, meets the cigar shop, meets personal development. And so let's get into a couple of um, introductions. So, JT, introduce yourself.
JT, period is silent. Hi, mom.
Cool. All right. New to the stage, new to the lounge. Got my man Lionel Salisbury. Um, Introduce yourself, brother. What you do?
All
Who are you? What's up with you?
all right, I'm Lionel Salisbury. I'm a licensed insurance agent, retired Marine, served 22 years in the Marine Corps. I am the co-host and co-owner of Couples Unfiltered podcast. I host that show with my wife, Natalie. And yeah, just here in our beautiful California. It's raining right now, but still lovely here.
Yeah. Lionel and his wife, they're one of the other few black people here in San Marcos. So I appreciate that. So before we get into the proceedings this evening, as we always do about this time, suck shit.
Man, I was thinking,
Uh-oh.
um, and I'm not one. I'm not real big on conspiracy theories. I'm more. I fall into the camp of like most of the time, the most basic explanation is the truth because people are stupid in general.
Mm.
Mm.
But I was thinking about all the different conspiracy theories I'd heard of, like the magic bullet with JFK. Um, like conspiracy, like did my daddy really go get milk that day when he left? Um, just different things like that, right? And I was thinking, and I was thinking, because I'm always thinking. And then I was thinking about the sucker shit conspiracy, because people have said I keep coming up with this stuff every week. So somebody must be writing it. Somebody must be coming up with it for me. But the fact is, I come up with it myself. But today, I was thinking, and I was thinking, and
Uh-oh.
I was thinking, and I couldn't come up with nothing, which led me to another conspiracy because I'm struggling trying to figure it out. And then all of a sudden, I go on Instagram and every other commercial is about something that's dysfunctional. I got
Mm.
a erectile dysfunction one like 3 times in a row. And I was like, my dick is fine. It's my brain that's not working right now. So, and then, you can't, like, how am I going to disprove it? I'm not married like y'all guys. Am I going to call old girl and be like, tell him, tell him my shit work? you know. And so I just want to say that sometimes sucker shit be on some sucker shit.
Okay. All right, brother. That was unexpected. You hit us with some new stuff that time, bro.
Hey man, I really did get some ED pop ups like 4 times a day on Instagram. That's what messed me up.
That's
I was like,
wild.
what a big is Big Brother watching? Is I ain't said nothing. Had me
Oh
feeling insecure. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Whew. Listen, we've been doing this for years. And JT and I have been knowing each other 30 something years. This is the first time. Yeah, that's happened. And I'm shook. I'm straight up shook. Okay, cool. So let's hop into it. Let's get into the discussion today. I had a thought the other day. Actually, I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm glad we're getting an opportunity to unpack it. I wanted to get your feedback around, just the small nuance, idiosyncratic ways that we deal with life as Black men. So, just something we don't really talk about. Just the nuanced ways that implicit bias shows up. And I don't understand this word. Just like I'm saying the words to name something that I didn't have words for. I just knew things were happening. I just knew something just felt off. I just knew that something just wasn't right in these situations that came up. And so, lately, just in what I do as far as like coaching and being in the nonprofit world and all of that, they end up I've learned and have tools to give words to some of it. And for the most part, if I say implicit bias, if I say, just in general, like how do we deal with that? What are the things that you've experienced? That's the first question. And, how is it that you've managed those situations when they've come up? Like what type of, in the first 10, 15 seconds, what type of calculations are you doing in your head? What type of emotional gymnastics are you doing? What implications are you looking at as you flip through the options of how you respond? I was just curious about that because some things will happen, but we'll get into that later. But I'm just curious, as the opening salvo, like, what is that for you guys? How's that been for you?
Well, if I can jump in, just you mentioned we live in San Marcos, and it's the demographics here for the Black community is 2.1%. Out of 100,000 people is very few of us. So we shop in the community, we live life in the community, and that's, for me, that's sometimes an issue. I had a particular moment where I went to the store, and there's a young man behind the counter, young white guy behind the counter, and whole time he's just walking by, not giving me any attention or whatever, just knowing that I'm there to grab something. I said, "Hey, let me get such and such," and the guy, grabs it up, toss it on the counter, just take your crap and go. And I was like, "Wait, hold on, I don't think you know who you talking to right now." So for me, in that moment, not only did I address him, but I went and I talked to whoever was in charge of him, and I made sure that he was no longer in that store. Now that's not a regular thing. It was a day I was having, and he got to feel this today. There's sometimes when I'm in said store and I'm a speaker. I want to say hi. I want to say hi to everybody. Hey, how you doing? I'm nice like that. I live in the community. I work in the community. I'm on the planning commission. I do stuff in the community. So I want to say hello. And when you get those little microaggressions where nobody wants to say anything to you, or you can be in the aisle trying to grab something and somebody will try to get in front of you while you're trying to grab something. And, sometimes it's a reaction moment where I will let them know, hey, this is what happened. This is what I'm feeling. So you need to fix yourself. But I have to remember that it's not for me to just really go in on somebody, but to remember exactly who I am. And you have no idea who this man is. You have no idea what this man has had to go through in his life to become the individual that he is. But I can't stoop to their level to get to that point to where they're pulling me out of my own character. So that's for me. That's something that I normally deal with, and I kind of deal with it with the grain of salt, remembering who I am.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Jay.
That 2.1% remind me of college. But I would say being a the experience of being a black man in America is kind of how the NFL dealt with concussions. They just now came around to the language, the CTE and concussions, but we know niggas be getting their heads bashed in since the game started. And that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
Now you said something interesting, Rob. And I'm not necessarily a fan of all the new language, but growing up, there were no words for what we probably all experienced.
Right.
There was no words, no language, nothing taught to us. There were nothing that the elders had to give us. They had advice on how to deal with it, but they didn't have any terms to pass down. They didn't have any phrases. And so as I've grown up, all of this is new, right? The framing, the language, the interactions that I see black men are having, that's all a relatively new function outside of a barbershop here and there. And I don't remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't ever seeing it be a national conversation.
Right.
No.
So in any new language, in any new thing that you're looking at, you're going to stumble over words, you're going to try to figure it out. And we're doing it in real time in front of people and being criticized along the way instead of getting the empathy that other groups get. And so that also compounds and extends that experience of being a black man because we do not receive empathy in the same way that other groups do.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my initial thought to what you're asking. And then the second thought I have, if I can say it really quickly, is because we don't receive that empathy and because I understand how we're looked at, nobody's coming to save us.
Mm.
This has to be an inside job amongst us to take care of us.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why we're having a conversation in the lounge, man. And you lifted up something that another term, recent term, emotional labor. Didn't know what that was, just knew how it felt. Didn't know what that was, to have any language for that until recently. Just going off that term, what are some ways where you feel like because nobody else understands or experiences what you experience, how you experience, what's that emotional labor for you like?
Again, the new age things like meditation, that wasn't something that we were doing growing up. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. You don't meditate. You got Jesus for that. So you can go ahead, you can go to church, you can pray, and that's about all you get. And then you got therapy. Now, we didn't have that before. So for me, it's just figuring out how to center myself to make sure that when I walk out of the safety of my home, and what I mean by the safety of my home is here I'm loved. Here I got people that care about me. I got people that understand who I am. But when I walk out that door, I got to put on this protective coating. I got to put on this cloak per se to be able to walk into this world. And I have to center myself. So I have to meditate. I have to know, who I am. and just to be able to deal with that. And then I have, again, coming back to this space, I got to be willing to express what I've gone through in the day.
Wow.
You know, with whomever your person is, you know, whether that be, you know, a spouse at home, a girlfriend at home, or somebody that you can call, you got to be able and vulnerable enough to say, this is what I'm feeling. Because more times than not, when we're out in the world and we got on our cloak, we got to have this armor on as if nothing's gonna bother us.
Mm.
We have to walk around like that. And people say, "Oh, you look like an angry black man or something like that." It's not that. I have an armor on because I don't know what the world is going to throw at me. But when you got that armor on, it becomes very heavy. So you got to have a place to unload, and you got to be open enough to say, "Hey, this is what I'm feeling." Because if we don't have the opportunity to leave the armor at the front door when we walk in our home, then our children's going to feel it. Our spouse is going to feel it. Everybody that's in our life is going to be able to feel all of that pain that we've been absorbing in the world. So leave with an attentive heart, I would say. Center yourself, and then come home without bringing the day with you, or find a place to leave it. Express it to whomever you need to talk to.
And that's why happy hour was invented. Go ahead, Jay.
That's funny. I was thinking about something a little different. I was thinking about the pressure of being "quote unquote" one of the good ones, and what goes along with that. I thought of me and my mother and my sister went to college, and I was what age is 8th grade? 13, 12, 13.
12.
Mhm.
I'm that age, and it's me and mom at her house. I'm about to say our house like I own something, at her house. And she worked during the holidays. My mom was a postal worker, and she worked the night shift during the holidays. If anybody knows anything about the post office, it goes crazy between Thanksgiving and New Year. So she was working nights, and I had to walk her outside as the "quote unquote" man of the house to her car. And she gave me not even a real baseball bat. She gave me the Dodger baseball bat. Remember the little blue ones? The little tiny ones? Right? So she gave me this little short stick, and we living on Bryanhurst off of Crenshaw and Slauson at the time. For people who don't know where that is, that's right around the corner from where Nipsey Hussle got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And my little 140-pound soaking wet ass is holding this baby stick in the middle of the night in the hood, walking her to her car. And all I'm thinking is, somebody jump out. We both about to get our ass whipped, mama. But okay, I'm the man of the house, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. And that started the idea of, no, you one of the good ones. So it's your job to carry this load, right? Technically, that should have been my daddy's job, but he wasn't there. And so it starts at that age for a lot of young men. And as you progress, you hear the stories of all the men that didn't do things, but now it's your responsibility.
Right.
So you're not only carrying your weight, but you're carrying the weight of the failures of other men and other people's decisions that they made in adult relationships. And it can extend to mothers, sisters, aunts, extended families, your mama's the play cousin, your mama's best friend's kids. Now you got to take on all kinds of stuff. And there isn't the space made, or there wasn't the space made to say, hey, what about me? You know, and so I see brothers taking on so many great expectations that sometimes they get lost in the middle of it and they lose themselves. So when you were saying meditation and get back to yourself, I think sometimes brothers just lose themselves.
Yes.
And they try to John Henry everything and power through. and next thing you know, you find yourself in breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, I couldn't agree with you more. First off, applause to your mom. As a postal worker, that was my job in the Marine Corps. I was a postman overseas, and I loved every bit of it. And just talking about the Marine Corps, you're in it's a great institution. However, it is a toxic environment. I was a drill instructor for 6 years, so I'm breaking young men down, building young men up. And you are absolutely right. You're putting the weight of the world on your shoulders because now you got all these people who are looking at you to say, help me be the best version of myself. Or I need you to, like you said, take the weight of somebody else. All these fallen men, these men that have failed. I always reflect on my wife. These men that have failed my wife. And now the weight is on my shoulder to make sure that her healing can begin through me and through our relationship. Same thing with our children. So I love the fact that you talk about the good guys. It is tough.
Yeah, and you talk about an emotional weight, the unseen stuff that we deal with. I mean, I just think about even the mix in another term, the emotional intelligence, right? The EQ that people talk about. And again, we didn't know what it was. We didn't have words for it, but we knew that, if we had this is not stereotypical, but hey, I'm at the liquor store and bumping somebody, I knew, like, how do I diffuse the situation? And so in any situation where it is, like, how do I diffuse the situation? Because I don't know what this other brother is carrying right now. And I don't know how this mishap may take him over the top. And one thing that we know as men, as brothers, that, situation can go from 0 to 100, in the blink of an eye. And so I think that's why we're so in tune to the emotional intelligence piece, diffusing piece, really thinking about, maybe not consciously, but definitely unconsciously thinking about, that other person and what they may be going through in their day that they may not be able to handle or carry that day in that moment. And so, I just want to add that as another layer of what we're talking about in this moment. How does that land with
it's crazy that you say that, especially right now. I'm a hip hop head, so I was excited when J. Cole's album came out. I was anticipating it, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And then, to hear stuff like Fat Joe was saying, I'm a Fat Joe fan. I've been a Fat Joe fan since Digging in the Crates, way back when. However, I think he missed the mark. With J. Cole's song, What If?
Yeah.
Talking about what if Biggie and Tupac had a conversation with each other?
Worked it out.
What if they worked it out? Maybe those two men will still be alive today, making great music. And when people talk about J. Cole backing out of the beef and apologizing, that was probably the most honorable, manly thing that could happen in hip hop, because people are dying over words. And who knows what his reasons were. But the fact that he said, you know what, my spirit's not in it. It says something. It says something about the character of a man.
What say you, Jay?
I haven't heard the new J. Cole. I'm an old school, R&B kind of guy. But I think that there's a culture that exists that we are celebrating the wrong things, and I think that the values of manhood uh, are in a funhouse mirror. They're distorted and they're being presented to young folks. There is an aspect that we're all aware of where you must defend your family, yourself, but that's selective. You don't walk through the day that way. That's too much of a weight. That's there's one of the most powerful things between black men is that head nod, that acknowledgement, and you can see it. You can see a brother's shoulders deflate. Like, okay, I don't have to, hey man, how you doing? Because he's armed for confrontation. And think about the weight of walking through the world that way.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about what we're carrying, and a simple thing such as having a conversation at this point is celebrated amongst us, but that's what men do. The last thing that men want to do is fight. And as I've gotten older, I see people get all amped, and I've been okay. Yeah, man. Let me buy you a drink, man. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. I can say it now. If you see me in a fight, they have one of my kids hostage, strapped to a chair. I got a call, like something happened. I'm not just gonna be fighting at this stage and age in my life. This is something is really on the line. But that lesson and that legacy of what the true value and what true manhood is not being passed down enough to the masses. There are brothers that are doing an excellent job, but we are fighting against other forces. And as a collective, we are not broadcasting the messages that we need to broadcast. Okay, because I know what I taught my son. I know the lessons that I try to, teach my nephews and the young men that I mentor. But there's plenty of young men that I haven't reached and that aren't being reached. And those are the ones that you run into. And a lot of us aren't making it to the age that we've made it to, that we've had a chance to figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah.
So that's what initially comes to mind.
So in that vein, I just want to riff off that a little bit. In that vein, as we think about the conversations that many of our young men aren't seeing and experiencing. Like, I know I experienced some of these conversations from just ear hustling my uncles and talking to me. Where are the places that you go, to unpack these vulnerable topics? I mean, where are those safe places where you go?
That's one of the reasons why we started the podcast. We were bringing people to the house and sitting in the backyard and having conversations where we just don't get anymore. And I don't know if it's a Southern thing. It's like, I think more Southern people will sit on the front porch and have conversations after dinner. And I know my parents brought that up from the South, but that's not something that happens on a normal basis. So we were doing that. We were creating community of people just having conversation. And we came to find out that the conversations we were having with individuals, they weren't having with each other. So that was one of the reasons why Natalie and I wanted to start the podcast, so that we can have these conversations. And it gave her a chance it gives both of us a chance to heal, but it gave me an opportunity to just be vulnerable. And I think with me being vulnerable and talking about certain topics and everything opens up the door for other men to say, all right, it's okay for me to talk about it. Instead of somebody being like, oh, this dude, he a simp, or he this or he that or whatever. It's like, no, you check my pedigree. But I'm grown. Like I am a grown man. I feel like I became a grown man at the age of 38. That's when I really put away, all childish things, childish ways of thinking, childish actions. And that's when I started to develop as the man that I have become. And I think it gives me just a real chance to be able to be for real, be open, be honest, and then welcome people in to do the exact same thing. So I think this, something like this, like what you're doing here is very important. It's important because people need to be able to come together and have conversations and, steel sharpens steel. If you're coming with, this is what I know, this is what I'm feeling, I'm open enough to say how I'm feeling, you're welcoming other people to do the exact same thing. And that's very important. So I think that's where I unpack a lot of my things.
Hey, did you find out that you were saying stuff in the company of people that needed to be said or needed to be shared that you probably wouldn't normally just share one-on-one with them?
No.
Oh.
No. Nah, not me.
Okay. Hey, it's your turn.
Yeah, no, I'm just little backstory. I lost my wife. My first wife passed away, and Natalie, my wife, her husband passed away. So when she and I met, in my heart, I said, I'm going to live without skin. And that means I'm going to accept any pain. I'm going to enjoy every bit of joy. I'm going to not have a barrier over me. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be free. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to live with joy. I'm going to do all the things that my own personality held me back from doing. So that's me. I walk in this world living without skin. I say what I feel. And if I like for you, I said, I'm going to be open and honest. I want to connect.
Yeah.
You a dope dude. We need to be in each other's world. How do we make this thing happen? And that's how I'm walking through life right now.
Okay. And
it's short.
Before we hit up or go to you, Jay, just one more follow-up. I mean, you said something about living and being in that next relationship with no skin, like with no skin on that, just being just raw and vulnerable. In order to get, and this is me guessing, in order to get to a place like that, you would have experienced or paid some costs of not being that way to know that that's a better way of being.
Yes, sir.
What was that cost you paid before of not being that way?
Two major points in my life. I referenced being a drill instructor, and I remember, I wanted to be the very best drill instructor I possibly could be. But when you like that, you bring it home. And I remember one day I came home and I came in the house and I told my boys, hey, I need you guys to clean your room up. This was a few days prior. And when I got home, the room wasn't clean. And the drill instructor was still there. So they got the drill instructor. And then my late wife was like, hey, I need you to come with me. I was like, all right. So we went out to the car and she said, grab your campaign cover. I said, all right. And she said, now I want you to take your campaign cover. I want you to open up the trunk and I want you to put it in there. So I'm like, all right, throw it in there, shut the trunk. And she said, every time you come home, I want you to put that in the trunk. And it's not just about putting that cover in the trunk. It's about the proverbial shedding of that because your boys fear you. These young men are supposed to love you and they fear you, and you need to let that go. And that was one. And then when I came home from Iraq, and I was 13 months in country, and I came home and I brought that war home with me. And I couldn't shake it. And it took my boys. And it's crazy because today is my youngest son's birthday. He just turned 27 today. And my son Miles turned 28 on the 5th. And they said something happened and they were in trouble, and I was like, let's go in the room. You about to get it. You're gonna get a whooping. Give me my belt. And my son looked at me and he said, why? Not in a sassy way. He was just like, why? I don't understand how that equates to this. Help me make it understand. Make it make sense to me. And that moment when I looked in his eyes, I was like, I gotta make a change. I gotta make a change. And that's where, when I said when I was 38, that's when I became a man. That's when I started to change. And then after losing so much, losing people, then when I met this wonderful person that I call my wife, I was like, I'm not going to squander one moment of having fear of saying how I feel about you, expressing to you what matters to me, being open and honest with you, and I'm gonna live without skin. So that's what led me here.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jay,
appreciate you asking.
Hey, Jay, where and who do you share and have an opportunity to comfortably and safely be vulnerable and have vulnerable conversations?
Well, first of all, living without skin made me a father at 21. Because that's how I made my oldest. But
Same here, 21.
without sheepskins.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, it was vulnerable as hell. But I mean, I got, we bounce things off of each other a lot. Couple of our other, fraternity brothers. But I didn't grow up with men being expressive like that. And it's funny because you're talking about being spanked, and I was just thinking about, I got my ass whooped every day. And people think I'm exaggerating. I was telling this story just at my aunt's house for the Super Bowl. And then my mom was there, and I'm talking about getting beat every day. And I grew up with my grandparents. I didn't live with my mother since I was a teenager. And somebody was like, okay, you putting too much on him. My mother was like, no, every day. Somebody was hitting him. I was off the hook, and that's the way that they dealt with it. But at a certain point, interestingly enough, and I told my sister this when I was like 11 or something, I was like, Grandma gonna get tired in like 5 minutes. She can only throw so many swings and then she done. And she not gonna whip me 20 times today. Right? So if I get through 1 or 2, I'm gonna do what I want for the rest of this time. This is the mentality that I had developed.
Oh my goodness.
So you can mentally get through this physical punishment because usually that's short.
Yeah.
If you don't establish principles and you don't establish a foundation and you don't have that kind of communication, you run the risk of that happening. So I know the book says spare the rod, spoil the child, or that's what we were taught, but the rod does not necessarily mean physical punishment. That's something that I had to learn when I became a father. And my two are 10 years apart, son older, daughter younger. She gets a much different father than he got.
Mhm.
You know, because I had to grow into that. Now to go back to um, who or how, what are my outlets
Mhm.
outside of talking to you and a couple other brothers, I don't have it. A lot of stuff is me talking to the creator and me spending my time in my fortress of solitude trying to work stuff out. Um, and so in full transparency, some of these things I have not found safe spaces to share or people that I could share these things with. My life experience, some people that I felt comfortable enough to share, it has bitten me in the ass down the road, and they've used that information against me.
Mhm.
I don't fault them for it. They were working through some things too, you know. So you got to you got to give grace because you need a whole lot of it to walk through this world. Lord knows I need it, you know.
Mm.
So the places where I could fully give it up have been few and far between in my life. So when I have found the folks that I could do it with, um, it's been a blessing. But some of the people that I love the most in this life, I've realized that they're not safe places to have those exchanges. Because I learned that the love and sharing certain things, those are two different experiences. Those are two different things. You know, and I've learned how to separate the two. That's just my own personal thing. I think that a lot of brothers are walking through this world and haven't found that outlet yet. That tribe, or even that one person that they can share it with.
Mhm.
So, as a follow up, Jay, what has been the past or even the current cost of not having that space? You kind of alluded to the cost of doing it to somebody who was working through that stuff, and that's very. I want to point out that's huge of you to say that and recognize that you understood that someone betrayed that trust. Maybe not intentionally, but because they're working through their own stuff. But what has been the past and current cost of not being able to share, not being able to open up with folks that you really, who maybe even benefit from it?
Well, let me go back a little bit. My background and upbringing is has was one of a lot of competitiveness and a lot of it's supposed to hurt, so just get over it and power through. You know? And so with that mentality, I assumed that pain was always a part of it. So when I felt it, I was like, okay, this is what life is.
Wow.
And I just pushed through. And so as I've gotten older, I'm just like, pain is a part of it. And you're supposed to take it, and you're supposed to be man enough to take it. And I think that you do develop a sense of confidence that you can withstand and get through things. But the downside, the flip side of it is that people just assume that you're all right.
Wow.
And so when you're really going through it, you find yourself alone.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, and it's some days I'll be like, damn, you know, and it and actually it took some people that are really close to me to say, hey, I know you're hurting, I know you're going through it, it's okay, And then, you know, just gotta look in the mirror and be like, let it go. Admit it. You know, hell, I don't even like to admit when I'm sick. If I got the sniffles, I'll be like, I'm all right.
Wow.
You know? So that part's been a learning experience to even let it go. Right. So I built up some walls and found myself trapped inside of them. But they were walls of my doing, my making.
Woo.
You know?
That's deep right there, bro.
That's one of the reasons why. Hey man, listen, I've done enough bad things, I've done enough damage that I'm not blaming anybody for where they're at. You know, because most people are not thinking about you. You are not the center of their universe, man. They're dealing with their own stuff, and you just catching shrapnel.
Catching strays.
That's it. They're not even really thinking about you like that. Now, there are some people that suck, because there's some people that suck in this world. I'm not, you know, letting them off the hook, but 9 times out of 10, you're not that important.
Just collateral damage.
You know, if somebody's an asshole, it's not just to you. You just caught them in that moment, but they're an asshole across the board. Everybody gonna get it. You know, so that's a long way of answering that all of this is a work in progress for me. I'm not gonna be dishonest. I focus so much on my responsibilities and what I need to take care of that sometimes I do lose sight of myself. I do have to reconnect and recenter myself and make myself a priority. I am not good at that right now. I'm better than I've ever been. I'm still not good at it. And when I do it, sometimes I feel guilty.
Yeah. That's a powerful omission.
Very powerful. Thank you, brother. I think, well, not think. I know I've just been fortunate and blessed to have some great guys in my life, and who've been there over the last 3 decades. Who seen my own evolution, who seen me at my worst, who seen me at my best, and who are man, I was having a conversation with somebody today, and who are loving enough to tell me the truth when I'm slipping, and supportive enough to celebrate when things are good, and humble enough to let me be in their lives. So, you know, and I appreciate, you know, Lionel's being on deck now. But it's just been fortunate, man. Just, you know, when some people say, you know, I have like 1 or 2 friends. I mean, we got a whole line of cats. Really, you know, even with those line of cats, we cool. You know, we still got like 2 or 3 close cats just hot line edge. We can just lean on them. That's the only child, you know. That's been amazing. Just a couple more questions I want to pull out. What do you wish that people understood?
Wow.
Wait a minute, say a little more. Understand about what? That's a little general.
Well, it was strategic to see what you would think about, but I'm glad you clarified. Okay, cool. So what do you think, what do you wish people understood about the topic of, you know, carrying the emotional labor that we carry as Black men, carrying, not seeing or recognizing nuances that we see, that we deal with every day on a daily basis? just not really knowing who we are and not asking, what do you wish that people understood about you, about what you go through, about your life?
That's a tough one.
I should have stuck with the first question. Clarification made it harder.
I would say this: it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay. Sometimes we tend to forget the human aspect of people or the human aspect of ourselves. We're all fallible, each and every one of us, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to have joy. It's okay to smile. It's all right to be human. Our job titles are because a room full of educated men. Job titles, our education, our certificates, all of that. Yes, that builds the. I don't know. It's just it gives us the key to society. Gives us the key to corporate America. But it's okay for us to be human. And that's a huge thing, because especially our young people right now, because our young people, they don't have some of the struggles that we had growing up. And when they do face some type of struggle or some type of adversity, they're broken. Their world crumbles. And it's okay. You're a human being. You're going to make a mistake. Realize that the moon comes up when the sun goes down and vice versa. And it's going to happen again tomorrow. Do better tomorrow.
I think of two things on a macro level in terms of being understood. I find it interesting that in this country, every group's quote unquote freedom struggle or struggle for or fight for rights uses Black people, and specifically Black men, as the template or the thing they point to for their struggle. But then when it's time to understand or empathize with Black men, that's absent. So you can use the civil rights struggle as the foundation for whatever struggle you're having, and then still turn around and not have empathy for the people that started it all, for you to have your fight. I just find that ironic. On a personal level, I'm with you. Tomorrow's coming no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And when you there's parts of growing up. It's funny. I sometimes I'll be telling Rob a story about. I remember I was telling you a story about something growing up, and you looked at me. You was like, "You realize that's trauma, right?" And I was like, "No, that was Tuesday. That's just a regular ass day, homeboy." Ain't that, And but there's downsides to some of that stuff, but the upside to it is just the philosophy that I carry with me. When you're going through hell, keep going. It does not last forever. So there is a resilience that one of the struggles that I grapple with is, in being a father, is the balance of making sure that my children, well, they're adults now, so my offspring didn't have to experience some of the things that I experienced, but making sure that they had enough resilience to bounce back, because life is inevitable. Nobody's going to get through this thing without getting touched. And that is the balance that I've been searching for. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I found the sweet spot. And at other times, like, I'm off. You know, because the short-term gratification of picking them up versus the long-term, their life success of them getting up is a fight.
Wow. Wow.
And sometimes sometimes I just chose short-term, man.
Hey, real talk.
That's my baby on the ground. I'm picking my baby up.
Real talk.
You know, I just real good. It's funny because my son, he's coming up on he'd be 30 in this year. You know, he just turned 29, but I was thinking about he'd be 30. And I was like, there were times in his early 20s, I was like, oh man, I don't know, right? And then I had to look in the mirror like, fool, you the dummy that became a daddy at 21. He didn't have to do that. Like, he's having the experience of growing up at his pace that you said you wanted.
Yeah.
Of course I had to grow up faster. Of course I had to mature faster. You know? And I'm like, so I had to check myself. Like, he's living the life you afforded him and provided. This is what you wanted. You know? And then once I came to that realization, so much just frustration and so much of it just went away. And then I could just look at it and be like, yeah, you're supposed to be stupid like that. That's cool. You're going to figure it out. You know? And as I'm watching him develop into the man that he is, he's engaged and got his, great fiance, and life is coming into focus. And the things he shares with me, I'm like, okay, this is how it was supposed to happen. I was trying to rush it. I was trying to put me on him. As if that was the blueprint. No, that's how I live. That don't make it the blueprint. Some of the stuff I survived.
That part.
So anyway.
Well, I'll say this. I guess I'm not so sure if I wish that people understood anything past that we're human. And that, anything that, not that we're some different entity amongst ourselves in this world, in this life. You said, both of you guys said some real powerful pieces about that. Just wish that, just folks just understood that we're human too. And, that, and again, the truths of life and the truths of how people show up, I absolutely give props to Jay for drilling that into me. when I'm like, oh, they're supposed to do this and to be, and it was like, homeboy, they how they are. And so you hear me say this a lot. The gap between expectation and reality is disappointment. And once you eliminate the expectation, you eliminate disappointment. Just engage and accept people for who they are and expect them to be who they are. You won't be disappointed. And I guess the last thing I want to add on to that is the value of leaning on who do you become in the process of your experience? Like, do you fold? Do you learn? Do you grow? Do you dust yourself off? Do you crumble? Do you see the lessons as, you know, more pieces of armor, more pieces of heart, more pieces of love, or do you see it as extra weight on your shoulders? Like, who do we become, or who have you become, or who you see the lessons of life in your process of becoming?
This dude right here. This dude.
Hey, it's raining, man. Reflecting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
I'm gonna reference Nas. When we fail, we only fail up. So I look at all those lessons as bricks to our foundation. So as I'm learning, instead of me taking it and bearing the weight of it, I'm gonna take those lessons, I'm gonna put it underneath me to help me rise. Let that be my foundation and just keep building me up.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. I remember my aunt asked my uncle, not husband and wife, but brother and sister, okay, does this outfit make me look fat? And he said, no, you fat in every outfit. Your fat makes you look fat. And she said, I know I'm fat, but I don't want to hear that shit right now.
I love your family, bro.
We know who we are. When we have our quiet moments of self-reflection, we know who we are. And it becomes, are you gonna deal with it? And do you have the guts to say it out loud?
Mm.
Can you be your true self in front of people? Do you have that level of confidence? Do you have that level of security to be your authentic self and face the world that way? And for the vast majority of us, the answer is no. That's why it is so shocking or refreshing to meet somebody that doesn't. And then when you meet that person, you are drawn to that person and you want to connect with that person because you're having a unique and genuine life experience.
Yep.
You know, for better or for worse, you're going to get me. And sometimes it's for worse. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. I'm gonna say what I see. And, you know, hey, so be it, right? I told one of my uncles on Super Bowl Sunday, I said, you are the poster child for what happens when they didn't have the diagnosis for ADHD and autism and things like that. Because I've not called a grown man retarded in my life, but you, sir, are retarded. And my grandmother laughed. She was like, that's my special baby. So sometimes we all know what it is and we just got to say it. But how it reflects on us as individuals is, I told you this, Rob, everybody hates liars except for the biggest liar in your life, which is yourself.
Yes.
But we expect the world to tell us the truth and other people that don't even know us like that. But we lie to ourselves every day. And this is the closest person to us.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's where a lot of my grace comes from. I've had to forgive myself 1,000 times more than I've had to forgive anybody else for what I've done to me. And so that's my position on things. I see things clearly. I say what it is, what I see, but there's very little judgment. And I was having a conversation, and I was saying to the person that I said, it's a woman, and I said, you struggled when you first met me because when I was saying things to you, you were giving me the emotion that you would have to say those things.
Huh.
For me, it's just an observation. For you, you would have to be mad. You would have to be hurt. You would have to be something to say it. And then there's so much feeling that would have to come along with it that you're giving me that. Instead of saying, no, this is a different being. This is a different animal. He just sees red and says, hey, that's red. Right? And there's no judgment that comes along with it. Right? This is just where we are. And I'm okay with you where you are. And I'm saying, be okay with me where I am. And let's have that experience. No need to put on a performance or a show to be around me. You know, my mother, I love dearly. Lay down my life or kill one of y'all. I love you, Rob. I'll kill you for my mama.
I love you.
My mama petty as hell. Look, my mama petty as all hell. Ain't gonna change. Almost 80 years on this planet. You think she giving up petty? Do I love her any less? No. But red is red. She petty, and I love her. How about that?
Corey would say, "Water is wet."
Water is wet. Why lie?
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't that be a beautiful thing if we could go through life and just be honest and have that experience and still love each other and still love ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. We are work in progress, but some work not gonna get done. Petty ain't going away in this person. You know,
that work for tomorrow.
you know. I'm just saying, man, and just like I tell you one other thing real quick. So, Lionel, you met Emily, right?
Yes.
So for people that don't know, Rob's wife is Puerto Rican. For I think it was probably 25 years straight, I called her Mexican because I knew it bothered her. And she was like, you know, that bothers me. And I said, yeah, I know. So I just kept calling her Mexican. And then she stopped reacting to it. And I told her, you know, I'll never do that to you again.
Yep.
That's my last Mexican joke. I ain't gonna mess with you no more. And I was like, if you know something is not true,
right,
why does it bother you so much?
Yep.
Okay. Now that makes me kind of sick and twisted. I understand.
No, that was my realization when we got closer. My realization was when it comes to the truth of the joke, you choosing the joke.
Because I'm just messing with you. And I'm like, don't you know I'm messing with you? Like you look at me and your response is, but I'm Puerto Rican. I'm like, I know you're Puerto Rican. That's why it's funny. Why are you taking this so serious?
Oh, it's been hilarious. It's been a hilarious ride.
Just saying. So now she's a Spaniard.
Yeah, she switched countries.
Yeah, not Spain. I gave her Spain.
So, and the beautiful thing about you and your feedback is that you have the superpower to see people, like, and it's incredible. I've seen it in action, and I've witnessed it. I've been part of that. So, hey man, for people don't understand, and I think they're missing opportunities to really live from a place of honesty with themselves if they have those conversations with you and embrace what what you see of them. That's your superpower, bro.
No, I'll say this, man. Between the three of us, and I think that we represent a lot of brothers. Brothers have suffered tremendous losses in their lives. And they see us on the other side of some of it, and they like, man, how can they laugh like that? Or why doesn't that affect them that way? Or how are they walking in the room this way? Well, you know, I'm on chapter 12. You should have saw me at chapter 2.
Real.
Right? When I was in breakdown, when I was struggling with it, you know? And so a lot of times when we get together, there's some things that's understood, that's happening, that's not even being said. You know when you're talking to a brother that's been through a few things, even the way he's gonna react to certain things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, he gets it. That what's understood doesn't need to be said, as my uncle used to say. You know, and so when grown-ups are talking, when it's time for grown folks, and that has nothing to do with your age, because I met some grown-up 20-year-olds and some 70-year-old fools. But when grown-ups are talking, when grown men are having that conversation, you just kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, this has been great. We're gonna go around, give each of you last word. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to man behind the boards, Dio. What's up? Dio, Amiri, behind the boards, setup and sound, videos. We have some stuff we want to get into, but I think we're pausing today is a good spot. I want to say big ups to Tally and Twine. You know what I'm saying? We always want to give them props. You know what I'm saying? It's Black History Year. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate Black History Year. The Gathering Spot in LA. Always want to give them props. We got some stuff in the works with them that's coming up. And we want to say big ups and thank you for coming in. It's the first time in the lounge, Lionel. So, you know, looking forward to many more times. You got an open invitation to come in the lounge. Big ups to you, Jay. Appreciate you, man. So, Jay, last words, and Lionel will give you the final word.
You know what? I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Taylor, who's Tuskegee.
T-Square.
She's running for Miss Sophomore currently. Tonight was movie and pizza night and that's her number one donor to her campaign. I hope it was a success. I nicknamed her Death by 1,000 Paper Cuts because that's what she's doing to my bank account. No greater love.
She didn't hit me up for a donation this time, bro.
Because the number one donor covered it. We went over budget as expected, but I did make her do a budget, you know, and lay it all out. I will say this in honor of her and also in honor of Brendan, my son, and that what they've taught me is I have to become better every day so I can be the best version of me for them.
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
Sir.
I want to conquer as many generational curses so they don't have to experience them themselves, and be able to pass that information along and also be viewed as a valid source. All right, because there's no use in getting information and then the people that you're telling don't value you. Right? Because now you're just pissing into a strong headwind.
Dope. Thank you, brother. Some words of wisdom. Last words. It's yours.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, first off, thank you for the invite. This has been a true blessing. Jay, good to meet you. Um, this is just absolutely awesome. We're gearing up for a couple of things right now. So we're gearing up for Juneteenth coming up. So it'll be second annual. We're figuring out how that's going to play and what that's going to look like. Natalie and I are getting ready for season 3 of Couples Unfiltered. So a lot of good conversations to come. Just excited about that. And like I said, man, just really blessed to be here. Blessed to get to know you. We held you hostage yesterday for about 8 hours or so.
Loved every second of it.
Man, true blessing, absolute blessing. I look forward to growing with this relationship. I really do. So, just huge blessings to both of you brothers.
Likewise. All right. We out of here. Thanks, Diego. You can shut us off. I guess I can shut it off from your end, Diego. We out of here. See y'all next week. Peace.